What's up everybody, Adam here, and I'm coming to you with the weekly haul of November 18th, 2015. My hauls are not getting any smaller. There were not as many Marvel number ones that I was looking forward to picking up this week, but there were some other indie titles, plus my wife actually had, she actually has kind of a little stack today, which is kind of surprising. She normally doesn't have a lot of books, but I've been having her check out Midtown Comics for their weekly releases, and she found a few books she wanted me to pick her up. So, we're going to be starting with the indie publishers, Image and stuff this week. First ones we're going to be taking a look at is a few books I picked up for my wife. It's called Mulan Revelations. It's going to be issues 1, 2, and 4. From Dark Horse Comics. She took a look, she saw number 4 is actually the one that released this week. She had an interest in it based on it was Mulan and she loves the Disney film Mulan. So she had an interest in what the story was about. It's kind of like a futuristic retelling of the Mulan story from what I can understand, so I might also take a look at it. They didn't have issue 3 unfortunately, but they had those 3 at least. Next up was almost my pick of the week, but I read the 2 books that I was torn between, and I know which one's going through my pick of the week, but this almost was my pick of the week. Huck number 1, and this is the variant cover, kind of looks like the Field of Dreams. This was a really interesting book. I really liked it. It's another one of those books where they kind of have, it's very Superman, except he's not like a superhero. He's just a regular guy with all these abilities, and he does one nice thing every single day. And one of the nice things he does is like freeze a bunch of captured African girls. You know, like what was in the news a while ago, all those schoolgirls who got captured, and he actually goes over and rescues them. And that's kind of how the book ends. It was really good though. This was a really, really good book. I really enjoyed it. The cover looks really good, and the interior is pretty similar. It's a lot of the same art style, but I really do like the Field of Dreams homage cover here, Huck number 1. Really good book. Next up is A Train Called Love number 2, the Garth Ennis book. I read the first one, really liked it. I'm going to check this one out, see how the story continues going. I'm probably going to read this one once I get done with the video, because I'm curious to see what sort of dark comedy situations he's going to bring in continuation from the first one. Another book that was real close to being my pick of the week, because it's been a really good series, Paybacks number 3. I don't see anything on this one specifically that's kind of being an homage to any of the other comic book heroes. I could be missing it. If so, just put down in the comments there. But it's been a really fun series about, you know, superheroes that go around repossessing other superhero stuff if they don't pay for their loans. So, it's a lot of fun. If you can, you know, pick these guys up. They're really good. And then this week, we also had the release of I Hate Fairyland number 2, and I picked up, I guess it's the variant as well, the less than safe for work titled version. This actually is my preferred cover. You can see she's standing over all the different fairy tale people. Like Rapunzel over here is like hanging from her hair. Alice has the rabbit's watch shoved in her mouth. It's a really fun cover. I really like. If nothing else, I wasn't really impressed with the story, but I love Scotty Young's work, and this is just good stuff. This is good stuff right here. I believe that's all the indie stuff for this week, so now we're going to move into DC. Had a little more DC than usual. First up, Batman and Robin Eternal number 7. It's great having a weekly book that I can't keep up with because I have so many other books. I think I've read up to the 4th issue, still really like it. And I finally got to read Endgame, so I kind of have an idea of what's going on now with this story, like where it's coming off of. So that's kind of good. You know, if you can read Endgame, read it. It's really, really good. Next up, Green Lantern Lost Army number 6. This is my wife's title. She wanted me to pick up a couple of the ones she was missing, but we don't know which one she's missing currently. We'll get them though, and then I'll probably try and read this one too. Although I kind of also want to look into the regular Green Lantern series, because I'm kind of curious what exactly is going on with all the Green Lantern stuff. Next up was one that I picked up this one last time, Titans Hunt number 2. The first one was pretty good. I didn't really understand 100% what was going on in the book, so I'm hoping issue 2 kind of clears it up a little bit. I don't really know if somebody's hunting the Titans or what it is. It's kind of a weird story, but I like the first issue enough to have an interest in the second one. And then another one that my wife was like, hey, pick this up for me. Red Thorn number 1 from Vertigo, i.e. DC. I honestly have no idea what this book is about. It looks like a vampire dude, which is why I'm assuming she has an interest in it, because she likes vampire stories. So I'm assuming that's why. But maybe I'll give it a read and see what it's about. Now we get into Marvel. Have a couple of... I think there's a couple of older books in there, but I did pick up quite a few of this week's releases. First up, we have Sam Wilson, Captain America number 3. I'm curious to see what the Cap Wolf is about, if he really does turn into that again, except this time it's Sam instead of Steve, because that's a thing that happened way back in the day, so I might actually read that one. Deadpool number 2. They had the 1 in 100 variant. It was the second, I guess it's the second hip-hop cover for it, but they wanted $100 for it. That was a little outside my budget. I really don't have $100 to spend on one comic, especially if it's just a variant cover. So, this bad boy is the only one of the Deadpools I picked up this week. Then we have New Avengers number 3. I got to start reading these ones to see if I want to keep up with them. I kind of have an idea of a couple stories I want to stick with. This one I'm kind of on the fence about, so I really need to read 2 and 3 to see if this is a story line that I want to stick with. Next up, in Uncanny Inhumans number 2. This is one I'm probably going to add to my pull list depending on how this issue is. I really enjoyed the first issue, so I'm hoping they can keep it going in the second one. I don't know what it was about it. I'm not even really terribly familiar with all the characters, but if you can make me interested in it, then, you're doing something right. So this one might be getting added to the pull list. Next up, Extraordinary X-Men number 2. This is another one, depending on how the next couple of issues go, we'll decide if it's going into the box or not. Not a huge fan of the art, which is kind of surprising because I liked how he did the different Spider-Man stuff, but I'm not a huge fan of how he's doing the X-Men. I don't know what it is. One of it was like Colossus from the first issue. He just kind of looked kind of goofy. I don't know. I just wasn't a huge fan of it. But depending on how the story goes, that'll kind of sway me a little bit more about whether I'm going to be continuing to pick up Extraordinary X-Men. And then I think from this point is number 1s. I only picked up 2 of the new books this week. And even then, they don't really have a huge interest to me. Actually, of note, I was going to pick up Star-Lord number 1, and his supplier sent him all the variants, but didn't send him any of the regular copies. And I didn't really want to pick up the variants. I didn't really like any of them, to be honest. So he didn't have any Star-Lords. So, unfortunately, I couldn't pick up Star-Lord this week. Hopefully, I'll be able to get it next week. He said he's going to have them in Thursday or Friday. But I did pick up Spider-Woman number 1. I liked the little story in Avengers Zero, so I'm curious to see, what this is about. It's not something that I have a gigantic interest in. If I don't really like it, then I'm not going to feel any pressure to buy the next issue. And then this is the only new Thor... In fact, this is probably one of the few Thor books I have in my entire collection. But the Mighty Thor number 1. With a, let me see if I can get it without bending it up too terribly much. Really cool wraparound gate cover. It's all shiny. But yeah, I'm curious in this series a little bit. I didn't read any of the stuff before with... I guess at this point it's not really too much of a spoiler, but spoiler real quick, Jane Foster is Thor. So, I'm curious to see, you know, where this book is, if they're going to do like a Spider-Gwen type of thing, and this just picks up from the previous series. But we'll see. I'll read it and take a look. It's actually why I didn't pick up, like, Miss Marvel. I really wasn't impressed with the Miss Marvel previous series. I think I read through the first 5 issues. I just couldn't get into it, so I didn't have any interest in picking up the new one. Also, I didn't see Uncanny, I think it's Uncanny Avengers Annual. I didn't see that there either. So, he's gotten, I mean, if he got shorted on the Star-Lord, then maybe he got shorted on that too. But I was able to pick up All New Wolverine #1. He had some left over from last week, so now I can actually read it. Like I said, I don't really like reading my variants if I can help it. Huck I read because I actually didn't know that was a variant at the time. I thought that was the cover. But yeah, I really, really want to read this one. So I guess the only variant, I got 2 variants this week, I guess. That would be the I Hate Fairyland variant and the Huck. I didn't really get any other variants, nothing really called out to me. Almost picked up the Drax #1 that was pointed out to me from JLS Comics. Jesse, thank you. But they wanted like $25 for it. So I decided to wait and take a look around again. It's one of those things where it's like, I would love to have all these variants, but I'm already spending so much money on my regular pickups that it's hard for me to justify getting expensive variants, unfortunately. If I had a small pull week, I could justify it, but I already spent almost $100 on this week's pull, so I just couldn't. I was like, I can't jack it up anymore. But that brings me to the favorite part, at least my favorite part of the video, honestly, the comic book pick of the week. This week's pick is a DC book, just came out this week, and it was really, really good in my opinion. Really pretty, really nice. It is a Batman title, Batman miniseries, Batman, I'm going to say Batman like 12 more times, Batman Europa #1 of 4. From Azzarello and Lee, I'm mainly going to say. There's a lot of people involved in this book. Really, really good read. Really interesting story. Try and be as spoiler-free as possible before you pick it up. Batman catches some disease that may be killing him, and he has to go find the cure for it. And as you can see, the Joker is involved in the story too. And like I said, this book is absolutely gorgeous. I just wanted to show off, like, just even the first page it's all Jim Lee work, and it's like, try and get this set up as best I can. It's hard because my mic's in the way, but I absolutely love. It's not just like a straight coloring. It's like almost like an oil painting or a watercolor. Like it kind of glosses. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but it kind of, normally this kind of style bothers me a little bit because it's not really super smooth and it kind of runs into each other. But with just the way Jim Lee draws and the art, the coloring done on it is just, I think it's phenomenal. So I really like that. I really recommend picking up Batman Europa #1. It's only a 4-issue series. It is $5. It's a little bit more than other books, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So, as usual, this is part of the video where I say, hey guys, if you like what you saw, give me a like. I want to hear about what you're reading. Put it down there in the comments. Any other suggestions about stuff I may have missed this week other than the stuff that I couldn't pick up this week, unfortunately? Let me know about. If I didn't already say it, let me know what you're reading. I'm tired. I was up too late playing Fallout 4. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for this week. And until next video, this is Adam, signing off.